My background in the industry parallels a lot of young people today. I started out as a high school photographer doing the yearbook and the newspaper at Miami Beach Senior High School. I went on to the University of Florida and worked for the yearbook as a photographer and a couple other publications. Ended up working for the athletic department, editing their annual film. It was kind of a nice way to go to school and make money at the same time. Coronado was born out of, or came forth from, my background as a cameraman, director, writer of theater trailers, the things that people hate, but yet a lot of advertisers pay the money to see themselves on the golden screen. I did theater commercials for 5 years. When asked what was it like to be the only producer in Miami, what was it like at that time? I don't believe there was such a time. When I got here off the boat, actually when I arrived from Pittsburgh, the only other company that I knew in existence was Rainbow Studios, owned and operated by a guy named Reese. He had a lot of government contracts. I believe he was doing some animation. The only other one I know of was Bernie Blender, which was a company called VTA. I did not compete with Reese. He was mostly doing government work, as I mentioned, but I did compete with Bernie. In fact, Bernie got sick, and I ended up with his account, which was at that time Burger King. I then had been married approximately 5 years. I had 3 children. I think it was pretty hard going for my wife, Betsy, but she was a real trooper. She knew that I had to go out on the road. I had to be up early in the morning. In fact, when I was traveling, I used to get up before 6 so I could get the discount right on the Florida Turnpike. I think it was $50 less if you got on there before 6 in the morning. Now, you know I wasn't making a lot of money at that time, but I was having a great time and I really was learning a lot, because to start off in 35 millimeter was like throwing big names around. When I told people I was shooting 35 millimeter commercials, they said, wow, because most of us had been involved only in 16 millimeter. When you heard about a 35 millimeter commercial, most of my total projects could not have afforded the film material and processing that they got for that kind of shoot. From the commercial thing, I went on to do freelance photography for a number of different producers here locally. I did work with Frank McLeod out in the Grove. I worked with Bernie Blender, I mentioned earlier, was a competitor at one time. He hired me to shoot. I worked my way into the advertising agencies. My first big assignment in Miami was to do 13 commercials in black and white film for the city of Coral Gables. Come by someday and I'll show you all the awards we won. A whole wall of awards from them and stuff we did for Burger King, for Jordan Marsh, for Bird Eyes, for Richard's Department Stores, for some food products, for Diet Right Cola, Regal Beer. We were known as, I think, one of the top companies in Miami. I was getting some international accounts. I had an opportunity to go to Europe for Biscayne Kennel Club. I did a commercial in Madrid, Spain, in Venice, Italy, in Chamonix, and also in Ireland. Then I came back and did another series of commercials in England. Dade Federal was included in that series. I then went on to Vienna and did a commercial with Victoria Principal, one of the ladies I started in the industry when I told her to get out of Miami and go to New York or LA because that's where talent made it. Those were some of the shoots I had been involved in. My business continued to grow. It was very successful. I was very happy. And I think I had a tremendous group of people that I grew up with and worked with and always loved and enjoyed going to work. One of the films that brought me the most pleasure was one I did with William Shatner. It won the Best Public Relations Film of that year for a film on the sugar industry. It was a project that we used a full crew, that we weren't denied anything. My client gave me pretty free hand to do what I wanted to do, and they were just the nicest people you could ever want to work for. I think my friend Charlie Allen has that account now. It goes on and on. Traveled a lot, saw a lot of things, learned a lot of things, worked for the United States government doing some things, re-enlistment films, training films. If anybody asks, what do you do at Coronado? It used to be my slogan, anything for a buck. I really tried, I worked hard at it, I enjoyed it, and I think I became part of a community that made me feel not only responsible, but happy to be a part of, and to know that there were people that had abilities far and beyond whatever you might perceive here in Miami. I encouraged, and still do, that people make pictures here from concept to completion. We have the right people, we have good people. It's all worked well for all of us. It's evident. Look in a phone book from 10 years ago, look in one now, and you'll see those yellow pages are listed with more people associated with our industry than you can hardly believe.